only man that's got the same move with every club. I'm the only golfer with the feeling of greatness. I'm the only golfer living that's got the master move and the feeling of greatness.
Hey, welcome to the Feeling of Greatness podcast today. I am here with Thomas Purvis, our COO here at Graves Golf. Thomas does some of the greatest work for the company. He handles the entire Graves team and all the day-to-day operations and all the things that you out there find us, come to the golf schools, experience some of the products, develops the website. There is a list of about 1,000 things that Thomas does for Graves Golf, and he's here with me today. And we're gonna have a conversation just mostly about everything, because that's what Thomas really does inside of Graves Golf. But one of the things that I think I'd like to talk to you about, Thomas, is anyway. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
One thing I'd like to talk to you about is just we're a coaching company.
Yeah.
Right. And we have a lot going on. People, I call it behind the curtain. Everybody, people that come to our golf schools find us, they see the show. They see us teaching. They see us, the setup of the equipment and presentations that we do. But they come behind the curtain. They walk through the doors of our offices here, and you run into our team, right?
That's right.
And Clayton here doing all the recording here for the shows. We have the studio where we're doing the studio down at the other place we have. We're getting ready. We're working on this, building this training center to try to all get in one place. Mm-hmm. There's a lot that goes on behind the curtain that guys don't find about. All for one thing, if you think about it.
That's right.
For us to be great coaches.
That's right.
And to coach people.
Yep.
Yeah. Tell me what a normal day in your life is. Just kind of, I know there's way too much in that question.
Well, there is a lot. I mean, most of the time it's, I usually stroll in at about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and then, go
That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a complete lie.
No, it's actually, there's a lot that goes on every day. And the great part about our team is that, we're all really focused on that one effort, on being the greatest coaching company that we can, teaching, the single plane swing to as many people as we can out there. And so, our team, we've got every day we've got guys that are out at golf schools teaching. We have our staff that's running our membership, so they're doing live lessons through Zoom or doing video reviews. So we've got all that coaching that's happening all the time, and then just from the general operations of what it really takes to get somebody to a golf school, what it really takes to manage somebody within our single plane academy. And then all of our training aids and to be able to make sure that we have the inventory and the stock and everything, so that when you all as customers, when the customers want stuff, that it's there, it's available in the shopping cart for them to get a few days later at the doorstep. So there's a lot every day.
Well, and I'll throw this out there, because Thomas is the person that gets the phone call Saturday evening at 11:30 p.m. when the website, something's going on or there's an issue, and Thomas has to break away from his family and I have a lot of appreciation for the fact that you're hands-on and you're willing to do that. This company needs that, this company needs that, because our team right now, honestly, you've put this team together here. I'll give you full credit for the team we have in the organization right now. I think it's one of the best teams we've ever had in this company. Not only from an energy standpoint of everybody being so focused on helping in the coaching world, but also just because we kind of click together. This team really clicks together. We all like each other and click together. That has always been the case. I mean, there's been a lot of, especially since the COVID years, we've had a lot of weird stuff in the company. I mean, we've had some turnover, but it's just been a weird kind of. I kind of equate it to losing momentum, and then having to kind of start turning the pedals of the bike and get that momentum back. And it's hard. The first push is hard. And right after COVID, it was a hard push. And I think right now we're actually got the wheels rolling, and I think things are going kind of back on pace to they were before COVID. But it's been a track.
And you're right. I mean, we definitely, I feel like, have got the best team right now that we've ever really had. And one of the things we always kind of joke, but we're always giving each other a hard time. We're playing pranks on each other and all that. And we say, if we're not doing that to you, then this isn't the place for you, because you're not assimilated into the team. I mean, the other day I walked in here and they had string and shrink wrap on Derek's desk and give him a hard time. And so it makes it a pleasant place to come to work. I mean, I've had jobs in my life. I've run my own business. I've had places where I don't want to get out of bed and come to work. And here now, I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning and I pull up my computer to see what emails I got overnight because I want to get a head start on things so that when I get here, I'm working with the team and we're doing everything we can for our customers. And then finding new ways to grow. I mean, that's last year it was Graves Golf on Demand. We had an issue with our website and the way that people accessed our digital content. And so we said, hey, let's try and find a better way. And so we brought this great experience to them. And we're constantly trying to do that. And that's what's happening even right now here in December. As we're coming to the end of the year, we're starting to look at how can we make things better. And so we're making changes in the way that our academy and guys get coached within the school. And so
the coaching app, the new coaching app.
Right. So everybody's working on that. We've had customers who said, man, I want to go deeper with you all. And so we're coming out now with some new levels of coaching that nobody's doing in the industry at all to the level of what we're going to be providing to our customers. And so I'm really excited every day about how we can be able to make that. And then you throw on top of that Graves Golf Performance Center coming in the future.
Yeah. Well, it's really cool because what happens to like me is I've been we launched this company in 2001, and so we're 23 years into this, right? And so it's not always it's nice to see younger guys like you with fresh ideas that understand. A guy, honestly, I don't keep up with things like Graves Golf on Demand. That you brought that to the company because you saw that as a better way to present our information, easier access on the phone. You can get to Graves Golf on Demand through an app now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And for our guys to have the convenience of doing that was your idea, as opposed to having to log into a website to get to the information, all that. But that's not just the only thing. I mean, it's all these new, bringing the technology that's available out there, you researching the technology, seeing what's available out there, finding out what the best is for our customers. That takes a lot to what's out there, And this new application we're going to be using for our coaching platform going forward is huge. I mean, it's a game changer. I was talking to Scott Renfro, and Scott's been around the company for a long time, and Scott says, he called me the other day and he goes, first time I've ever seen this company in such a clear spot on how we're going to deliver coaching to our customers. That's a big deal. To me, that's a very big deal. Just the clarity within our organization of how we can better coach and help our customers, which is huge. That's to me that's music to my ears, right?
Yeah. No, it's absolutely everything, and it's I think for years we've had our Single Plane Academy membership, and guys were able to send in videos and all that, but when those things get difficult and the process isn't easy, they don't use it. I've been having a bunch of customer meetings. Just kind of getting feedback on stuff from folks and talking about some of our new levels. And every person that I've discussed, the current process, they're like, it's great feedback, but the process to get there has been kind of cumbersome. And so, we're fixing that, and we're going to make it easier. We're going to streamline all the communication so that our customers are able to very easily access, what they're working on, have their training plans, being able to communicate, and then build a bigger sense of community within our coaching app than we've ever been able to do, so that guys and gals can be able to interact with each other, which is awesome.
It is about convenience in a lot of ways because I know how I live my life. I mean, if it's easy, it makes it much easier for me to find the time to do it. If it's hard, it's just like to mess with this. And so us being more accessible, making our communication better and easier. The application of the Coach Now app, which you've been developing, that being able to go into one place with your coach, have all your place in a space where you're being coached. I got a question for you because I've seen this kind of evolve, maybe since COVID, because I'm a coaching type person myself. I mentioned at one point I was counting how many coaches I had in my life, and I think 3 to 5 at all times. Right, I'm gonna have these guys that I consult with and that coach me. I'm very much into a believer that you need people in your life that keep you accountable to the promises you make to yourself.
Right.
And so I believe we get distracted, we get busy, our lives get in our way. And And if I make a promise I'm a kind of guy, if I make a promise, if you're my coach and I make a promise to you, I follow through. But if I make a promise to myself, sometimes I don't follow up. It's
right.
it's a weird phenomenon, right? So I hire coaches. But I've seen an uptick, and maybe it's the Zoom platforms where people are able to get in front of people when they're, like I can get in front of you now, and I can be 1,000 miles away, right? So maybe it's those type of platforms are now allowing us to get coaching on demand when we need it.
Right.
Do you see an increase in people desiring coaching? Or that's one question. Or another question might be, do you see an increase in people just taking advantage of that?
Yeah.
How do you see that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think people are especially our customers, as they're, because most of the time they're struggling in their golf game, they're frustrated in so many ways, or they have back pain, and they're coming to us as a a savior in a lot of ways. And so with that, guys want to make a commitment. They want to be able to, like you said, you're more accountable to a coach in what you're doing than accountable to yourself. And so they're making an investment in themselves to say, yeah, I want to go play golf. I want to be better. I want to beat my buddies. I want to win some cash off of them. And ultimately, I want to have fun. And that's what we're able to bring for folks. And so then for them to get into coaching and have us, because we coach in lots of different ways. I mean, we're from our Plain Talk with Graves Golf webinars that we do, to 10% shows for our membership. We put stuff out there all the time. We do workshops. We have things. But then you get to this core group that's really our top 2 to 3% of folks that are in the Single Plane Academy, and they're hungry. They want everything that we can be able to help them with and teach them. That's what they want, and it's really exciting. And we've started to really see that grow over the last couple of months, especially, is that the more that we're out there talking about how we can help people improve and help hold them accountable, the more they're raising their hand, saying, "Yeah, I want."
So use that word "want." I'll tell you that is a very important word, and I'll tell you why it's an important word. Because I remember when I was the last time I played golf with Mo, we were playing at a course called Copetown Woods in Canada.
Okay.
And it was July of 2004. He died September of 2004. So I knew it was probably the last time. I used to go see him on his birthday.
All right.
Birthday was July 10th. But I used to go up there somewhere in the first week of July, and we'd go have dinner, and if you want to play golf, we'd play golf and whatever. And normally played 9 holes, goofed around, and then hit some balls and went and had dinner. Well, this particular occasion, his health wasn't good. He had lost a ton of weight. He didn't look good. Yeah. And I pretty much knew it would be the last time I'd ever see him and play golf with him. And so we were playing, and he wanted to play 18 holes. I mean, rarely did he want to play 18 holes, but he probably knew it was the last time he was going to play golf with me too.
Yeah.
But hey, I asked him, I said, Mo, why me? Why did you and I have this relationship, and why did you kind of teach me and kind of mentor me through this whole thing? He goes, because you wanted it.
Yeah.
That was the only thing he said. He didn't say because I liked you. He didn't say because I thought you were a great guy.
Right.
I wanted it.
Yeah.
He could tell I wanted it. And to me, wanting it, you'll do a lot for things you want.
Oh yeah.
Right. You'll and that was a big deal to Mo, was desire for something.
Yeah.
I think that's the prerequisite to improvement. I think you could actually have a scale and say, what's the scale of want here?
Right.
Like I wanted a little,
yeah,
or I really wanted a lot. Like I'll sacrifice a lot to get it. What do you think about that? I mean, what's your thoughts on? I mean, you just talked about it. The 1 or 2% or 3% of people that really have success with this have the highest level of want. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, 100%. And they're involved and they're active. But it goes into more things in life that kind of people. I mean, you talk about you wanted it more. That's why I was there. Well, you even think about my story and coming to Graves Golf. I was running my own advertising business, working in politics, and I said, hey, I want to do something different. I was really active, loved watching golf. Constantly, Golf Channel was on in my house. My daughter, Natalie, she plays at a high level, competitive. And I said, I want to go do something different. And I literally told my wife, I said, I want to go work in golf. So I got on Indeed. I started looking to see if there were golf jobs out there, and there were a couple different things. But that exact day, Graves Golf had posted a marketing job.
Really?
That was and so
I never heard this story before.
Yeah, and so I looked and I said, hey, I knew of Graves Golf because I lived in Edmond, saw it, Coffee Creek, but I didn't really know a whole lot. And so I started doing research, and I was like, holy crap, Graves Golf is natural golf. When I started playing golf, my dad and I, right out of high school, I had broken up with a girlfriend. I decided I needed some distraction. My dad was like, let's go play golf. So we went to Lake Hefner, my brother, he and I, we bought 3 sets of golf clubs, and we sucked. And so we saw on TV a natural golf commercial. So
I was on that commercial.
Yeah,
That was me.
So he buys a set of the natural golf VHSs, and we go and we watch and we try, and we're okay. But I was the only one out of it that really kind of continued. And my dad and my brother, I mean, every once in a while they'll play, but I found a love of the game at that point. And so I started looking at all kinds of different things, watching different people and not having a model, not really following, this part, but that came back around that was like, wow, there's a job opportunity with Graves Golf, someone who I had wanted to try and, do natural golf in the way that, like Mo. And so I reached out and it, it all worked out, and we're here now 4 years later, and I still want it every day. And I want it for our customers.
You walked in the office and said, when do I start?
I did, absolutely.
Like, you're not hiring anybody else. When do I
No,
start?
I walked into that meeting with you guys because I think, and actually I sent an email. That's what it was. I didn't fill out the application. I sent an email telling you guys my story and where I was at.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, let's sit down and talk. And I wasn't taking no for an answer because this is what I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted to work in golf.
It is.
And this was a place, and I could see how I could help make an impact and be able to take things to a new level for the company. And we did that. We've done that the last few years. We've been able to, through COVID, and now we're trying to figure out what's the next iteration over the next 5-10 years of what we're doing. And a big part of it is how we're changing our membership, our coaching program right now, and really, really getting people who want it, what they need.
Yeah, I as a coach, that's a great story, by the way. Thanks. As a coach, I have a difficult time with the word try. I don't do well with try, because you're going to do things, right? Because the bottom line is, if you try something and it doesn't work, then you need to do something else. So it's not about trying; it's about doing all the time. Just what I'm doing right now isn't working. Let's do something else, right? So I'll attest.
I can attest.
You can attest to that. You can't. You don't. That's not a word I like to hear on this company. Is trying, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying. No, you're not. You're doing. What are you doing? What do you? If it's not working, what are you changing? Right. Yeah. But also I see it in successful students. Mm-hmm. They do. And I will talk to people occasionally on my YouTube channel, and they'll say, I'm going to go try your swing. And I'm like, no, don't. Yeah. Don't go try it. Please don't go try it. Yeah. I try to talk them out of it, because try gives you a way to say, well, it may, if it doesn't work, I'm going to do something else. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if somebody says, I'm going to go do this swing, great, go do it. Let's do that. I'm in. I'm all in on the do part. Right. So I think there's this, I think subconsciously, we have to know what we're getting ourselves into. How many things have you done? Here's a question for you. How many things have you done in your life where you knew you weren't going to follow through with, but you did them anyway?
I mean, I'm sure there's a good amount.
I could probably name 5 things.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. But if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
Right.
To at least run its course to where
right.
it's at.
But I go in there going, I'll never do this again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've done that so many times in my life. And so you still go through with it,
sure.
But in your gut that this is a one-time deal. I'm not going to do this again, right? So to me, those things they're not necessarily a waste of time, but to me, you're not going to be successful at that. Yeah. If I tried to go, like, I would never skydive, right? I'm not interested. I'm not a thrill seeker.
Yeah.
I would do it, but I would do it once.
Right.
Right. Only because my wife would probably, if she wanted to, talk me into it. Other than that, I wouldn't do it. Right. And I'm not even that, but I'm not going to become a skydiver. Sure. And I can guarantee you, I'll bet you $100,000, I will not become a skydiver. Right. I might try it, but I'm never going to do it. Yeah. But I think it's a big deal. I think when it comes to success in golf, because golf in itself is a game you must spend time practicing. You must do golf.
100%. Yeah, for sure. And one of the things that we hear a lot, and I know it frustrates me and it frustrates, you and your brother, and is that we have guys who will, become members, or they'll do this, and 2 years later they're like, oh, it's not working for me. I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about why it didn't work for you. How many times do you send videos in? Well, no, I didn't. How many schools have you been to? Well, I haven't. How often are you watching, what we're doing from instructional content? I don't know, maybe like once a year. So you just paid us, to be involved in but you're not doing.
You're not doing.
You're not doing. You're not taking that active part. And that's where we always talk about the 10% who improve. And it's like the people that are out there that are making the changes, that are committed to what they're doing, that are actively involved in their own progress and putting in the work, are the ones that actually go out there and improve all the time.
That goes to show, I'll say this in front of the students at the schools, I will not take any credit for your success, because I am only presenting the information, the best that I know and my knowledge that will help you.
Sure.
That I can do, right? That I do know that I can do, but I can't swing the club for you. I can't, when you go home from the school, I can't make sure that your left-hand grip is on the club correctly. I can't make sure that your address position is good. Now, you can send videos to the coaches and they can reinforce that and they can coach you, and that's part of you doing. There's a 50-50 that you have to do it, I have to do it, right? Our coaches have to do it. So it's not all, hey, I'm going to go try this method. How many times do people get it right when they just look at it and try it? Never.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just look at the method and try it. You have to learn the method. And how do you do that? You have to make sure you're getting it right. If people contact me and say, hey, I'm not, it's not working for you, I'm like, you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, if you were doing it right, it'd work. Right? If you do it right, it works. So there's a lot to that. That's a whole other conversation that we should have with the coaches and say, bring coaches into the podcast and say, let's talk about students, and where we're seeing the most effective forms of communication, the most effective, we're trying to speed up the process at the end of the day. We're trying to get good at teaching people quickly to get them on the golf course playing their best golf of their life. I also think the other side of this equation is that I'm always working on my game.
Yeah.
To me, I love it. I enjoy it. Yesterday, I hit balls for the first time in a couple of weeks, and it was just good to be out there, hit some golf balls. I hit it really good. Usually, what's funny is usually the first day, if I haven't hit balls for a couple weeks, the first day I just don't feel that good. My body doesn't feel good. I'm out of rhythm and stuff. And then the second day it's a little better. The third day I'm usually hitting it pretty good. Yesterday I started hitting it pretty good. I hadn't hit balls in a while, and so it's just like golf is a game you have to do.
That's right.
It's a game you have to do. Yep. It's just all there is to it.
Yeah. You got to put in the work.
Yeah, and so a lot of people, but here it's interesting conversation because what was it yesterday? The other day I was reading is there a comment on my YouTube channel, or was a comment from one of our students that emailed me, but he was saying something to the effect of, I should be able to, basically it was the conversation was, I should be able to just learn the swing, go out there and play great golf. And I was like, whoa. I go, hold on for a second. I was like, first of all, I'm pretty good at this game and I don't pick stuff up that fast. I have to work at it. So maybe you're better than me at that, but it'd be hard for me to believe that because I'm pretty good at it. Number two is, there's a lot more to the game than just hitting the golf ball. Yeah. Right? It's a lot more than just hitting it straight down the fairway. You got to chip, you got to putt, you got to manage the course. And so I remember telling my students in the school a couple weeks ago, I'm like, that we did a bio school, right? The 3-day bio school. And I love that school because the 3-day bio school is all about quantifying your improvement. There's no guessing. You either did it or you didn't, right? Which maybe the conversation of this podcast is doing it, So it measures you did it or you didn't do it. Yeah. And here we have data that shows you did or didn't do it. And I started the school by prefacing by saying one thing. I said, I'm not teaching how to play great golf here at the school. That is not the purpose of the school. The purpose of the school is to help your golf swing to hit the ball more consistently better. Now, you can go hit it right in the middle of the lake. You're not going to play better, right? Mm-hmm. So I said, that's a very, very specialized school, but I don't promise great golf from that school. Right. I promise better ball striking, a more quantified version of a golf swing, and giving you exactly what you need to practice, which is what clarity. This school is about clarity. It's not about playing better golf. And I think people don't really understand that. They don't differentiate the two, that playing golf and having a great golf swing are two very different things. Ask my brother. We'll bring Tim in for a podcast here, and Tim will be, look, you want to score? Let's go work on your putting. Right. But joy of the game. Yep. Maybe that's the entire thing is we got to have more fun playing the game. We want to have more fun playing the game. That's what we're all about.
Well, and I think for a lot of people that's a big stepping stone, and it is for me too. I mean, I played golf for years. I sucked. One, I had the wrong clubs, so they weren't fit for me. I had these stiff steel shafts, Nikes. That was horrible. I came here. Tim, got me set up with clubs that actually fit me. But then I started trying to, to learn the swing, but I wasn't committed. I mean, I was committed to Graves Golf, but like I didn't have enough time to actually be committed. And so I take Natalie to the U.S. Kids World Championships at Pinehurst. And they have a parent-child tournament the day before. And so her and I had signed up. And I'm like, I've been here probably 9 months, I think, at that point. And I had been, trying to work on the swing, but like I said, wasn't committed. And we go there, and I'm topping every ball. It was horrible. We were last place. She was crying by the end of it because she was so embarrassed by me. And I'm like, what the heck am I doing? Like, and Natalie at the time, she was playing conventionally. And she carried us, even though we ended up being last place, because there were certain situations that like we had to play my tee shot, and my tee shot was 50 feet deep in the woods. It was so bad. So we literally leave. She plays in the World Championships. We're driving home, and she goes, "Dad, I'm never doing that again." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Either you're going to commit to single playing and what you're doing, or I'm never playing in a tournament with you again." And so I came out of that, and a few weeks later, you and I are working on the back range at the old course that we were at. And it was little things. Like I didn't have my foot turned out enough. I was going too high with my hands. And so I remember this day, distinctly. You're standing behind me acting like you've got a baseball mitt. You're telling me to come right here, with my hands not any higher than my shoulder. And I just ripped one. I was like straight, beautiful. I was like, well, where was that 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And it's because I hadn't. So I've been working on it. And so now, so what ended up happening the next year, we go, I convince her, we play. We end up being third.
You had to convince her.
I had to convince her to play with me. We end up being third.
Nice.
And we played a whole lot better because the holes that I needed to, I at least got us in the fairway.
Right.
And we did. And so, which made it a lot more fun and enjoyable and something to obtain to. And I think a lot of guys that we and gals we work with sometimes don't have that thing to obtain to. And it's always like, I need to be striving. How can I? Because then I want it. It goes back to that whole thing about want. And how can you be better? And so now,
or it's either one or your daughter says, I'm never playing golf with you again.
No, it is. Well, and it goes to a lot of, she wanted to be better herself, and she was struggling. And so she's now moved over to single playing, and we're coming up to 2 years now of her playing. And she went from
she's great.
A 10+ handicap to a
she's
2.2 now.
Yeah, no. It's to me, like I will say this on this podcast, and maybe I'll change my mind in a future podcast, but I don't know how to motivate people.
Yeah.
Like I don't. I struggle with motivation. Like your daughter motivated you that day. Mm-hmm. You're like, if you want to continue to play with her in that tournament, you better get better, right? Yeah. So we all are motivated by certain things. Like I know that certain things motivate me, and some things emotionally connect with me that I want to make sure that I strive for or really, really want, whatever that is. But I can't motivate people. I just don't know. Like I don't know how to push those buttons, and I think you have to find that in yourself. Mm-hmm. I think you have to find what buttons that you find important in your life. Like golf is important to me, but if you said to me, Todd, go play the Champions Tour and go play events, I'm not that interested in that. I'm not motivated to do that. Like, am I motivated to go win a golf tournament? Not really. I don't find, maybe the ego in me just doesn't see the value in anything like that. I just don't know. I don't know if it's an ego-driven. I don't know.
Everybody's got to have that though. You got to have that internal. You got to have that internal drive and button things. I've been having like I said, calls with our customers lately, and that's one thing. I start off the call where I'm kind of say, hey, where are you at in your game? What are you looking to do? What are you striving for? And I find that thing in there, and it's like, okay, well, what's keeping you from getting to that point? All right, well, I have a solution for you to help get you to that point. But a lot of guys, it's like, hey, I play in a Tuesday and a Thursday men's group, and I want to take $25 for my buddies more often, or I want to go play with my grandkids, or I want to be able to play the game and not have pain,
that's it,
and those things. And so everybody's got a button. For me, my button was that I didn't want to embarrass my daughter the next time because I wanted to go play with her at Pinehurst.
Right. Well, what's funny is like I'll go out there and hit a few balls and practice a little bit, yesterday Tim says to me, he goes, in April next year, we're going to go out and play all the courses at Pebble Beach. We're going to play the whole circuit. I'm like, ooh, it means I got to start practicing.
Yeah.
That was my first thought. I was like, I don't want to go out there and play badly, So I kept thinking.
When are we doing that?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll start practicing too.
Exactly,
Come on, let's go.
See, we're all like, okay. I'm like, and the other thing too is like schedule. It's like, okay, that means April. That means February and March. I better start getting some rounds in. But yeah, I kept, but that is that aspiration.
Yeah.
That thing out there that dangles in front of us, that carrot that's out there that says, hey, I want to beat my buddies out of money. I want to play with my brother and have a good time out there at Pebble Beach. I want to play with my daughter. You got to find that thing.
Oh yeah.
We got to find that thing.
Well, and I think one of the things that we even need just as a company, we need to ask that question. You know? And I
No
think
doubt.
we do some in some ways, but like that needs to be like the forefront of when you become.
You're right.
When you become a part of our coaching programs, like what are you striving for? What do you want? How can we help you get there? And oh, by the way, here's the solution that we can help to.
So
get to
what's the moneymaker, right? Because a lot of companies like us that are in the world of coaching or in the world of making more money, like we want to help coach you to make more money. I deal with these companies all the time. We're not helping people make more money, but there is a payoff.
Sure.
For them playing good golf. What's that payoff, right? What's the payoff for them?
Yeah.
That is what it is.
Right.
That's the answer to it.
Yeah, and they've got to know it. They've got to understand why, because the other side of it is that if they're struggling and there's roadblocks, that's how then we as coaches are able to say, okay, well let's, you're struggling because you're your short game. All right, well let's work you. That's what part of our deal is we go and we've got our stat tracker, how we tell guys to go out, play 4 rounds of golf, keep track of all their fairways hit and their ups and downs and putts and all that stuff, and then we analyze them and say, look, like here's a big glaring hole in your game.
Yeah.
Like you can get off the tee great, you're hitting hitting great drives, you're great around the tee, but your second shots, your approaches are killing
That's next level.
And that's one of those things that I don't even think enough of our people kind of take advantage of. And so as we're kind of reinventing the Single Plane Academy for 2023 and what we're growing, that needs to be a bigger part of kind of, what do you want? How do you want to get there? And then let's analyze where you're at and where, where you're at. And,
so you can speed it up.
Be able to help you so you can accelerate
speed it
that
up.
process.
Yeah, exactly. Like I know you've got to get on some calls. We got about 5 minutes left, but let me just kind of walk through what my brain goes through when I think about levels of motivation to get better. So let's take, for example, my motivation, which is, let's say, Pebble Beach next year, right? Which is probably more than that, because in the spring I play a bunch of tournaments with Tim and we hate losing. So like, and what motivates me is playing badly with my partner, because I don't want to let my partner down, just like you and Natalie, right? Because you don't want to let your partner down. Nothing's worse than your partner playing good and you going hacking it around, going, good luck, good luck, partner. It's so hard. It's so hard. So the process I will generally go through is I'm easy on myself. Like I don't expect a whole lot. I'm not going to run to the golf course and go expect to shoot 500 par, right? I'm going to go take it easy. Now, here's 2 things I know about the game of golf. That if your wedge game is good and you putt well, you can pretty much make up for a lot of the bad shots you hit. Okay, it's number 1. So I know, and Thomas, you know me, how much time do I spend working on that part of my game? Right. It's a joke. It's a joke.
I don't want to admit it to our customers.
But however,
don't ask Todd for short game.
Right. But however, when I played back when when we were all locked down for COVID, I was going to the golf course. I worked on my wedge game. I played constantly. So, and I played my best golf because I could get it up and down, 50% of the time, whatever. So I know that what I'll do is I'll go get my long game in relatively good shape, which is relatively easy for me. But then I'll go spend all my time with my wedges. I'll just be wedges it and putting and working on my putting, and I'll grind meaning I will spend time in those areas more than I normally would, because those are weaknesses of my game. And so people tend to only work on their strengths. Like, I'm good at this. I like doing it. I'm going to go hit balls. But I know that my motivation has to be placed on wedge game and short game. So the level 2 of that for me is, okay, I don't necessarily like that part. I mean, I like hitting wedge shots and stuff like that. I really enjoy that part of my game. But sitting there on a green, I just got to be honest with you, sitting on a green for me and just putting after putting, it sucks. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't enjoy that.
Right.
That's not part of the game. That's why I don't do it that much, right? So I've got to find a way to motivate myself to do that. So how can I do that? Well, I'll probably go grab Tim, play putting games.
Play some games, yeah.
I'll grab Tim to coach me through some putting. I'll have Tim help me. That way I'm enjoying that time that I'm doing it. I'm getting better at the same time. So I have to go hire a coach.
Right.
That's what I do.
And this, you obviously what Tim should have as a podcast is the conversation of, as you're going to practice, and we talk about like if you're going to go for an hour, you don't want to just go to the range and pound balls for an hour. You want to go 15 minutes working on that. You want to go work on your wedges and chipping, and then half your time on the putting.
Well, and Tim plays games. Tim also plays games with the.
Well, yeah, and that's. But I see when I go to a course and a guy will just go 20 feet out and starts rolling a ball and doesn't. There's no intent.
Yeah.
On what they're doing.
Right.
So it's like you're not going to improve because of that.
Right.
So being able to have the intent, which the games are a great part of that. Those drills, the things that we have, and that's why we do it. I mean, it's not just to be able to create more content for people. It's that. Those things work, it's, and it makes it more fun. It makes it to where you want to go like, hey, I want to go see if I can beat yesterday's score of my up and down.
And gamifying it.
And gamify, And the more that we do that as a company, I think it gets guys that are, that are more excited.
Well, I remember last year I was it last year or the year before, but Tim and I were playing a little team tournament and we were playing at Twin Hills. Tim used to be a member at Twin Hills. And the first hole, we started on, they shot up a shotgun start, and they started us on the par 5. God, Tim would kill me. I don't know the whole number, but I think it's 3. I don't remember the par 5, but it runs along the road. So we had to drive down there, and it's a weird par 4. It's a big valley in front of the green, and you can kind of try to hit a 3-wood to carry all the way to the green, but there's an OB behind the green, so I'm just going to lay it up. So I laid it up and I had been working on my 50-yard wedge shot. Like, I've been spending tons of time from 50 yards, right? So all I've been doing is hitting 50-yard shots, just getting good at 1 yardage. Hit it down there, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, right at 50 yards. I'm like, I've been working on it. I hit my wedge, goes in, 3, first hole, nice. Eagle. Yeah. So it's like, if you spend time doing this, the confidence level goes way up.
Oh, yeah.
You don't second guess stuff when you're out there. You just walk out there and hit the shot, and that's really what practice should be, is to build your confidence level, not to necessarily go grind on stuff. It's just, I want to get confident with this. How do I do that, right? And just do enough repetitions and get confident with it. That's why gamifying it, I think, is really important because, like, you hit tough shots. Don't just hit easy shots. Hit tough shots, you know, and just get confidence in those shots you're hitting.
Yeah. And I hear a lot of times from our customers, like, hey, I'm not trying to go get on the tour, so why do I need to do that? And it's like, because that's how you improve, and then you enjoy what you're doing and having fun. I mean, there was nothing worse than walking off a golf course, being in last place with my daughter in tears because I couldn't get off the tee, and it was horrible.
Yeah, it's a bad feeling.
It's a bad feeling,
It is.
And not that everybody is going to experience what I did, but it then motivates you to want to do. And so whether that's your buddy beat you 50 times. And you've never been, okay, well, and then they're giving you a hard time. All right, well, let me go improve my game. Let me do some of these things to get better. Let me listen to the coaches. Let me listen to what they're doing to help. Yeah.
Well, no, Thomas, thanks for joining me. Hey, I'll tell you what we'll do. Based on all this conversation, the whole idea of motivation and want and desire to improve, we'll get Paul Monahan in here and we'll do a podcast with Paul because it really is a deal where everyone wants to have so much fun playing the game, right? We want to have joy, we want to go out there and have a good time, but we also want to play good. It feels good to play good. It feels good to hit good shots, and it certainly doesn't feel good when you're not hitting good shots.
No.
But we still keep playing because we love the game.
That's right.
Thanks for joining me on the podcast. Great having you as the first guest. We're going to put this out as the first podcast.
Sounds
all right.
Great.
And we'll talk to you later.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. And anybody out there who wants some help with coaching, make sure let us know. We're here to help you.
Yeah. Thank you.